This is the second part of your second chapter. Acids, bases and salts. Let us together explore it. Today we shall learn about various reactions involving acids and bases. We shall start with the reaction of acid and bases with metals. Then we shall learn about the reaction of acids with metal carbonates and hydrogen carbonates. After that, the neutralization reaction, reaction of acids with metal oxides and reaction of bases with non-metal oxides will be covered. Finally, we shall learn about the mixing of acid and bases in water. What happens when an acid reacts with a metal? The reaction produces a salt and hydrogen gas. The metals displace hydrogen, form an acid. In the example, we observe the reaction between sulfuric acid and metal zinc. The zinc and sulfate ions combines to produce the salt called zinc sulfate, and then the hydrogen is released. Similar to the acids, the bases also react with metals to produce a salt and hydrogen. All metals cannot release hydrogen, form bases. In the example, we see the reaction between a base, sodium hydroxide, and a metal zinc. The reaction releases hydrogen from the base, and the remaining ions produce the salt called sodium zincate. The 2 before sodium hydroxide comes from balancing the reaction, which we learned in the chapter of chemical reactions. If you do not remember, watch the video again. The link is attached in the I button on the right top corner. Acids react with metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates. Acids react with metal carbonate to produce salt, water and carbon dioxide. In the example, hydrochloric acid reacts with sodium carbonate to produce a salt, sodium chloride. It also produces water and releases carbon dioxide gas. With metal hydrogen carbonate also, the acids produce a salt, water and carbon dioxide. Here we can see the reaction between sodium hydrogen carbonate and hydrochloric acid to produce sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. Notice the difference in the balanced reaction in this and the previous example. What do we get when we mix an acid and a base together? The reaction between acid and base produce a salt and water. In the example, we see the reaction between HCl hydrochloric acid and KOH potassium hydroxide. The Cl chloride combines with K potassium to produce KCl, potassium chloride, and water. In another example, we look at the reaction between hydrochloric acid and magnesium hydroxide. It produces a salt, magnesium chloride, and water. These reactions are also known as neutralization reaction. Metal oxides react with acid to produce salt and water. In the example, hydrochloric acid HCl reacts with sodium oxide, Na2O, to produce sodium chloride, NaCl, and water. In another example, the reaction between magnesium oxide and HCl is shown, which produces magnesium chloride, MgCl2, and water. Non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature, so they do not react with acids. Some non-metallic oxides react with base to produce salt and water. So, when we mix carbon dioxide, which is a non-metallic oxide, and hydrochloric acid, there is no reaction. Whereas, carbon dioxide reacts with the base calcium hydroxide CaOH2 to produce a salt, calcium carbonate CaCO3, and water. Now we shall learn the reactions or processes involved in mixing acid and base to water. Acid and water release hydrogen ion, H+, or hydronium ion, H3O+. In the example, we mix hydrochloric acid in water. The HCl releases the H+ ion. The H+ ion then associates with the water molecule H2O to produce the hydronium ion H3O+. So, the overall process produces a chloride Cl- and hydronium ion. Due to the release of hydrogen or hydronium ion, acid solutions can conduct electricity but dry acids cannot. Bases release OH- hydroxide ions in water. The example shows potassium hydroxide KOH releasing K+ and OH- in water. So, we learned that all acids release H+ and all bases generate OH- in water. But care must be taken while dissolving acid or base in water, as the process is highly exothermic, which means a large amount of heat is released. This is the end of your second part. Stay tuned and keep studying till the next part arrives. Do hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon in order to never miss your classes. You can also explore previous chapter and parts from the playlist here.